The Naruto phase. It's seen as when someone obsesses over Naruto, but only for a period of time. The person in question would most likely, later in life, look back at those days and regret them. Someone going through a Naruto phase at times can also be seen as a Narutard. On May 26, 2005, Ben Bertolucci on Urban Dictionary explained a Narutard in a funny and greatly detailed way. Narutard is a derogatory term applied to otaku fans of the anime title Naruto. It is a wordplay on the combination of Naruto and retard. This term surfaced during early 2004 at the beginning of the anime's popularity in America, and characterizes the behavior of Naruto fans as being so blindly devoted to the series, with almost a religious cult-like fever, that they act incredibly stupid and can be confused with mentally challenged persons. Many Narutards dress as their favourite character during conventions or festivals to display their metal headbands, which are worn by characters in this series as a sign of their gang affiliation. One characteristic of a Narutard is that they will wear just a headband over their street clothes and tell everyone that they are cosplaying. However, the term loosened its meaning over time to the point where it pretty much just meant a fan of Naruto, and it was mainly used by people who didn't like the show. I personally feel I was never really in a Naruto phase. Sure, there were times where I exhibited my love for the series, not too crazy amounts, but definitely enough to turn some eyes. Some of you may say, oh yeah fam, that's a Naruto phase. Well, I wasn't in a phase. I've been watching / enjoying Naruto for about half my life now. I was in a phase, however. The anime phase. To explain this, I will have to explain how I entered and eventually left the anime community. Before I start, I just want to stress that I really hate the word anime, and I hate saying it. It seems like a dirty word to me. Even when I was a full-on fan of anime, I thought the same. I will do my best to say the word as little as I can. I honestly cannot explain to you, to this day, why I don't like the word. Perhaps one day I'll find out, but... Anyways... I remember the day vividly. 2011, a sunny day in Barry Island, Wales. I was visiting some family I have there, and I was going up to the loft to see my cousin Sam. The loft is where they kept their Xbox 360, and in there he was playing some kind of fighting game. I sat down with him to watch the game. He was playing on a map that I had never seen before, but soon I had become very familiar with this map. It was called Training Ground. The fight was not going in his favour, so when his health reached a certain point, he held down the Y button, and then I saw something that blew my mind at the time. This blonde, spiky-haired teenage boy had, in a fit of rage, transformed into a dark, bloody red, four-tailed demon. I was in awe of the transformation and proceeded to ask Sam so many questions. What was that? What is he? What is this game? He informed me that the game was called Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2. I asked what the hell Naruto was, and he told me that if I wanted to be up to speed with the series as fast as I could play the two other games before this. I later learned that there are like a ton of Naruto games. So I played the games Naruto Rise of a Ninja and Naruto The Broken Bond. Believe it or not, these two games were actually made by Ubisoft, and at the time, these were the first two Naruto games made by a non-Japanese company. I fell in love with the expansive cast including Naruto, Kakashi, Lee, Itachi, Shikamaru and more. I loved the land of the Hidden Leaf Village, and I could go on for ages, but I shan't. Perhaps another day in another video. After that, I tracked down at the time the PlayStation 3 exclusive Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm and played that. I had fun and finally got around to playing Ninja Storm 2. I was in love once again. The graphics, the soundtrack, which I still listen to this very day, the combat, the story, and the boss battles. I needed more. But at the time, this was the most recent Naruto game out there. I found out during my journey that Naruto was actually an animated show, produced in Japan, and then later dubbed in English. At this point, I was playing the games in English. I mean, why wouldn't I? I'm not going to give you a random film and you think, oh, I'll watch that in Chinese. Of course I'm going to play it in my native language. So I began to watch the sequel show, Naruto Shippuden, which Naruto Storm 2 adapted to a point, and began to watch from there. However, I reached the limit of episodes released at the time, and I was so confused on how I was still getting spoilers on the internet, even though I was up to date with the show. Well, the Japanese dub was well ahead of the English dub, so I watched that version and then got caught up. Then I was still getting spoilers. It then turned out that Naruto was a long-running manga, or comic as we know them, in a weekly compilation comic book called Weekly Shonen Jump. So I caught up and then read each issue on the day of release while later getting the official books. Through this journey I learned that Naruto was called an anime, an animated show from the land of the rising sun, Japan. It turned out I had watched some in the past, such as the original Beyblade trilogy, Digimon and Pokemon as a little kid. Anime seemed like a massive world that I needed to explore. So I did. This was a bottomless pit of animation. So much to fully understand if I was going to enter this world. Like proper pronunciation of the word manga. Manga, I still don't know to this very day. Japan is a very different culture to my neck of the woods, so there was an adjustment period when I ventured out into the world of watching stuff from Japan. I fully started watching anime in the spring 2013 season. See, how anime is shown in Japan is in seasons: winter, spring, summer and autumn. Shows are viewed to the public in blocks like this. Winter season, first quarter, is January, February, March. Spring season, second quarter is April, May and June, and you get the point. It's not as simple as that, there's a bit more to it, but if you really cared, read this. At the start I watched at least an episode of everything from that season, and then went on from there. There I found shows I would never have watched otherwise, such as Attack on Titan, and in the summer season I watched shows such as Watamote and Blood Lad. The latter of which I would actually start reading after the show and found that a much more enjoyable experience, just FYI. See, the idea or concept of the shows you'd see came from many different places, such as manga, novels, light novels, video games, and much more. Or of course, the show could be original, though that is quite rare. I continued to watch for a few years, and in that time I found shows that I fell in love with. To name just a few to save some time, there was Black Lagoon, The Melancholy Haruhi Suzumiya, Kuroko no Basket, Hunter x Hunter, Puella Magi My Doko Magica, Death Parade, Hitman Reborn, Toradora, FLCL, Daily Lives of High School Boys, and Cowboy Bebop to name but a few, and even found some great anime directors such as Mamoru Hosoda. In 2015, I thought I had seen so much that I made a comprehensive and badly edited top 25 anime you should watch video. Bless me, I tried. I even started doing bad cosplays and attending certain anime and video game conventions, some that later would actually invite me to be pressed for their shows. Thanks that, lads. But I slowly started to fall out of love with it all, and then I just stopped caring. I think it was around 2016 I started to slow down with the anime stuff. I got a pretty much full-time job and then left university, which I am currently still at the time of this recording. It was a weird time to stop watching anime. Conventions such as Comic-Con were getting bigger in the UK, and the same people who used to bully me and harass me at school now openly say they like shows such as One Punch Man. It was really odd, and I felt even more out of place than I did before. I was also frankly getting tired of the community. The anime community for the most part is weirdly hostile, and not nice to be around in my experience, and these conventions I used to go to, bar a few, simply got boring. I'll use MCM Comic-Con as an example, as it's the biggest and I have the most experience with it, next to EGX, which is a video game convention. I would turn up, look around for a few hours, then that's it. You could go and play some video games there, but they were mainly just either retro games or a couple of soon-to-be released games by companies such as Bandai Namco or Arc System Works. Comic-Con to me felt like a glorified marketplace. Let me break it down for you. Say there were 10 halls in use for this event. One would be for games, one would be for retro games, two would be for guests, although bigger guests normally have their own stages, and the vendor stalls would simply take up the rest of the hall space. And normally, online prices are the same if not cheaper compared to the stall prices. Con-goers may now argue that the community is why you go there. Specific meetups are there, fans of certain intellectual properties, cosplay meetups, and video game tournament meetups. But a lot of the people who are there aren't really there to socialise with new people, but rather they're other con regulars. Some may argue it's a great chance for lonely people to meet other lonely people. No way. Real lonely people wouldn't try those meetups as they're too anxiety producing. Those kind of people are normally buying overpriced merch at the stalls or queuing up to meet their favourite TV or online personality. To bring it back to the subject matter of anime, you'd see the worst and the weirdest of the community come out, doing horrible stuff or simply being unpleasant to be around. I used to be in a public Facebook group called MCM Comic Con, which I recently left due to most of the people on there either pissing me off or making me cringe as I scroll through my feed. In this page, I would see many con goers, mainly female cosplayers, complaining about certain people at the con, and most of the time they were anime fans. Anime is a time-consuming, sedentary hobby. You are sat there for long amounts of time, reading subtitles and taking information in from a show you may drop into episodes. Video games can be argued to be the same kind of hobby, and yeah, that is fair to a point. However, I am being social with my multiplayer games, and even then, my mind is thinking and my hands are moving when playing a game. If you just play a game and turn your brain off, it's possible you may just die in game. With a show, you can just turn your mind off and watch. This is true for any media where you just sit down and watch stuff, not just anime. But with anime, there's always this separation between anime and TV shows, and even animation with anime as a genre. Hell, even fucking Netflix has an anime section on their site, but not an animated section. What is up with that? It's its own beast, and the fans want to hold it close and not let go. Back to the social thing quickly. You can be social with anime, do not get me wrong. I watched one of my favourite shows ever, Black Lagoon, with a friend, and it was a mighty good time. But it is rare that people would watch anime with someone, and even then, it would probably be their one anime friend from school or work. And the thing with being an anime fan in the UK is that shows don't find you, you find them. TV shows and films are advertised all over the UK, but nothing Japanese. I mean, why would it? It's different cultures. To relate to the American audience, we don't have Adult Swim or anything like that which publicly says, yo, we are showing anime, come and have a look. So if you wanted to watch a good animated show from Japan, you would have to probably find it through one of these three methods. Forums, a friend, if you have one, and through anime YouTubers and Twitter accounts who would talk about the shows. This is how I found most of the shows I mentioned in Arc 3. Then watching the shows is a mission in and of itself. How, you may ask? You're on your ass watching something. Well, that was the issue for me. You had to sit and watch it. I don't have much free time nowadays compared to when I first got into anime, and if I do have free time, I'd rather play a video game, study software to further improve my work, or as of about a year ago, go to the gym and try and improve my physical and mental health. You may argue, well, watch it at the gym or while you're working. But the language barrier. Contrary to what many otakus may tell you, you can't learn a language by simply reading the subtitles of a show. Sure, you may pick up a word or two, but I don't want to have my head down on the cross trainer trying to burn fat and only understand about 2 words a minute of an episode. There are English dubs, which many fans turn their nose up at for some reason. I don't mind them, and in fact I really like them in some cases, and I fully agree that it is an option. But one of the reasons I fell in love with anime and animation in general is the creativity that can breed from the art form. You can make anything possible with the stroke of a pen. This is why, even if I want to watch it in English, like I did with shows such as Black Lagoon, I want to sit down and fully embrace the potential of the art form. To bring it back around, you need to be sitting down, or at the very least, give the show most of your attention, as you need to be reading the subtitles, or even just to fully enjoy the show. This was quite a deal breaker for me. Recently, I watched a brand new anime for the first time in nearly 2 years, Megalobox. I love this show. I love boxing as an element of storytelling. If done right, a story can be told just through a fight, and one of my film goals is actually to make a great action film or show. The art style and soundtrack of Megalobox is amazing, and I could just go on. But I would have to make time for the show. Normally after an editing session from between like 2 to 4 AM, and I could finally watch something. I love being able to watch an anime again. More than that, I could watch a show and let that be that. I don't have to talk to another anime fan unless I really wanted to, and I don't have the burden of the anime community on my back. It was refreshing, and made anime actually feel a little bit special again. For 2 odd years, I barely watched a thing from Japan, minus a few films such as Your Name and A Silent Voice. You wanna know what's kind of odd? Many fans of anime simply just watch the shows and ignore the films unless it's an established franchise they already like, such as the Dragon Ball films. Which really is a crying shame, as there are some great Japanese animated films out there. In early 2018, I watched Paprika by the late Satoshi Kon at university for the first time ever. The reason we were watching a film is because, well, I study film, and one of the elements of that tutor's particular modules was understanding genre, and what kind of films come from particular genres. She felt Paprika was an interesting way to show off anime, and subsequently animation as a genre, and I felt this was a great choice. Paprika is super creative, while taking influence from other Western and Eastern live-action films. Not to my surprise, only a few people turned up to the screening of the film at uni. These people were more people that turn up to everything timetabled. They didn't really care about this weird shit from Japan. It turned out that day was the 20th anniversary of Perfect Blue, another film by the late Satoshi Kon. A cinema around 15 miles away from me was screening it, and I made the effort to journey and see it. It's a fantastic film, twisted, thrilling, and gives an interesting perspective on one's self-image and mental health, as well as your image and how it's perceived by others. This made me start to think about myself and the relationship I had to anime. I like it, of course I do. I spent so much time watching it, watching the good, the bad, the masterful, and the utterly abhorrent shows. I started to think about why I stopped watching in the first place. It was really hard to pinpoint why I started to dislike it and move away from the genre. I mean, so far I've listed reasons of why I didn't like the community and even at points struggled to watch anime anymore in this exact video. But that doesn't mean I can't like the art form anymore. Then that made me think more of anime as an art form. No, Lovers-in-Law in my eyes is not art, but it could be to you. No, I don't think Naruto is art. However, when I see a masterclass of a show or film, I see it as a chance to learn as a filmmaker. If I see something that's interesting, or an interesting part of a show, I can take that, adapt, and expand my knowledge as a filmmaker and a content creator. Whether it's the stunning animation of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, the amazing use of lights in Your Name, the amazing sound design in Akira, and the fantastic storytelling and imagery of Cowboy Bebop. In shows like My Hero Academia, I can get behind these characters, even though that they're not real. Simply drawn lines dubbed by someone at a much later date. But that's the thing with art and video. It's fake for the most part. Psycho, for example, is made up of actors portraying characters on a made-up set. But it makes us emote, and I feel that that's the goal of art, to make the consumer feel something. In that respect, maybe Lovers-in-Law can be seen as art. After watching Perfect Blue, I started looking at anime in a new light. I mean, sure, there are shows that I watch for fun, but a bit like watching a classical or modern day classic film, there is something to be learnt from great anime. This thought process was also spawned from my tutor. I mean, why was he showing me an anime in a university lecture? To this point, I had been watching anime for fun, and that was about it. But studying film has opened my eyes to how much you can learn from watching. The best directors will tell you that their work was inspired by other films and pieces of art. Hell, some say certain anime films inspired them. For example, Rian Johnson has freely admitted to cribbing from not only Akira, but Otomo's other manga work, Domu, and even Christopher Nolan acknowledged that Satoshi Kon's Paprika was an inspiration for his film Inception. This was all mad to me. This hobby I had sheltered at first and now was fully questioning had inspired movies and other such works. The film students that I was watching Paprika with in that screening I mentioned earlier were drawing similarities to other films including Inception. Max, my tutor at the time, informed them that these films were inspired by Paprika, which shocked them all. They must have thought of anime as just silly hairstyles and hentai, as many still do. I don't really watch anime anymore. In fact, very little, and I do not have much time to do so. But when I do, I try to find one that can make me emote, or make me want to learn or adapt something from the show to one of my own works. Now, as we draw to a close of this up and down script I wrote in a flurry of inspiration, I wanted to discuss my stance on anime, and the name of the script itself. Unless I see something in the show, whether that be for entertainment or more likely for learning, I won't watch it. My days of trying to see if a show may actually be okay or an average show, maybe worth your time, are over. That's the dying in this title. But as someone who came in and out of the anime fandom alive and no longer a virgin, I think, I feel I can fully defend anime as a form of entertainment, and even more so, as an art form. I used to have this to-watch list in my mind. I still do, but this has changed from shows that look alright, just shows that look really interesting, and ones I feel I can learn and adapt from. The Naruto phase. This has always seemed odd to me. I would see tons of posts of people talking about their Naruto phase, and how they regret it or left it, but the more I think about it, I may have a few shows in the background, but there's only really one show that I never fell out in love with, and even want to go back through one day, even during the time between Naruto Shippuden and Boruto. My interest and love for Naruto never died. I guess you could say I'm a Narutard still to an extent if you wanted to. Moreover, without delving into why at this moment in time, I can publicly say this. My Naruto phase never stopped. Perhaps I'm just still in it, and maybe one day it will stop, but for now, it simply hasn't. Though my views on anime may have taken a turn over the years, I am glad, in some form, Naruto is still here for me, and whether it stops tomorrow or continues for years, I am happy that I have the memories from this show. The Naruto phase to me is nothing but gibberish, because I'm still here, wearing the headband, and wanting to become Hokage. Hello everyone, yes, an on-screen outro, and we're not done yet. This video was done about 3 weeks ago, but I wanted to do an on-screen farewell. I had a nice studio booked, and long story short, it fell through, so here we are. What I just did was I rewatched my video the night before I uploaded this, and I wanted to basically comment on my video. Like, I watched it, and I have notes on my screen. I have 2 pages full of notes, because this video means a lot to me, actually, because to me, it felt like I was saying goodbye to a part of me, like a former part of me. The old weeb side of me is saying goodbye. Like, I still jokingly say that I love Naruto, and I do love Naruto, but like use it as a joke, as a self-deprecation thing. But I just kind of wanted to fully acknowledge that. I know this is me saying goodbye to that past me. And I also want to explain that some parts, even now, I'm like, on in this video, because I wrote this video in April, and only just now have I been able to actually edit it. Like, I recorded the VO for this in June, of all times. I recorded this a long time ago, and this has been quite a long process, especially for a video, and like, considering how much work's been put into it. Like, my Nintendo Switch video, I did that in about 4 months, well, this took about the same time, and they're different videos in total, but I hope you enjoyed it. And like, look, I said here, I understand that some things were pretty dumb that I said, but I wanted to fully explain my point, because people on the internet, you know, someone out there is going to see this, not understand it because he's a fucktard. Don't be that fucktard. Like the bit where I said, like the bit where I said that media is fake, like most of it. Obviously, of course, Psycho is fake. Of course, Naruto is fake. But again, I had to explain that, I feel, to illustrate my point. If you disagree or agree with anything I said in this video, please comment below so we can start a discussion, because I want to discuss with people if anyone else has gone through this phase of like only really staying around for one show, or, you know, leaving in general and then coming back maybe. I want to discuss with you people anime in general, which is a weird thing to say out loud, but whatever. And I really wanted to end with this. Say you watch this video and you fucking hate me now. I am one of the only people currently in this industry that I'm getting into very slowly, the film industry and the video industry in general, that openly defends anime. Like, there is some bad stuff in anime, and I fully agree with that. But as I said in the video, I kind of see anime as art now, especially the good stuff. And it goes to the point where I am willing to defend anime as an art form, and I argue the great sides of it and the bad sides of it, but I'm getting a discussion going about anime in an industry outside of the internet. And I'm really happy that I'm doing it, and I do not regret my weeb days at all. Not at all. I mean, I made some mistakes in there, but they were life mistakes. And it gave me this video, and it gave me a lot of reflection. And if there's one thing I've learned from university and this industry in general, is that reflection is a good thing. And especially if you can take that reflection and do something good with it. So on screen, on camera, I wanted to thank you for watching this video until the end. I mean, unless you skipped to the end for whatever reason. You scrolled along and saw me on the timeline with a lovely Crash Bandicoot hat and thought, why not? Let me wank off to this guy for a bit. So thank you, I appreciate that. But yes, thank you very much for watching this video. Cards are popping all around my face right now. Click on one. I mean, here's my Nintendo Switch video somewhere here. Let's do an old anime video here. And then we'll leave my face down here for the subscription bit. But yes, thank you very, very much for watching. And subscribe if you want. But hey, you're a human. Do what you want. And love you. Bye.